Hey, hi, hello, how are you? Happy Thanksgiving! Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the books that I am thankful for. I don't really know how to explain this video except that I knew I was going to be posting on Thanksgiving as I tend to do every year, but I kind of skip over it. I don't really talk about it in that video. I wanted to talk about some books that I'm thankful for. I'm trying not to mention some like books that you already know that I love, I picked out a couple other ones and maybe I just don't talk about them as much or things like that, but I wanted to tell you guys that I'm very grateful for them and I'm happy they exist. The first book that I'm thankful for is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I loved this trilogy so much. This was obviously the first thing I read by Laini Taylor and it really made me fall in love with her as an author. Her beautiful flowery writing and her immaculate world creation is just so to die for, and the romance in this just makes me so happy. I loved this series to the very end of it. I feel like people don't talk about this series enough, maybe because it's a bit older. I really don't know when it came out. I just feel like we focus on. It came out in 2011, so the newer people on BookTube don't really talk about this, but I read it a few years ago and I really enjoyed my time reading all of these books, and I am really Next up I have a book I read kind of recently. This might be the only book I read recently on the stack, but I'm just so grateful for it that I wanted to mention it in this video, and that is Dear Sweet Pea by Julie Murphy. If you didn't know, my parents actually call me Sweet Pea and they've called me that since I was a kid. This book just felt really special to me because it came out the day after my birthday. I just felt like it was really for me, which kind of sounds really dumb. But it is about a plus-size, like 12-year-old girl who has a big fat cat and she wears a striped shirt and she's like the sweetest character. It's a lovely story that I really wish that I had access to when I was a little plus-size 12-year-old. Or not so much 12-year-old. This did read a little bit younger, at least to me, in my personal experience being a 12-year-old, because I always say I feel like I'm 12 right now, which I'm 17, but you know. But this story just struck such an incredible chord with me. Even though I didn't relate to Sweet Pea's situation, she's dealing with divorce of her parents. I just loved Sweet Pea so much as a character and I felt like she was a lot like me when I was younger. So I absolutely love this book and I'm so grateful that it exists. But next up is a book I don't mention a lot. I always mention like my favorite like mental health books, but I feel like this one's just talked about so much that I don't like have to mention it. I'm gonna mention it in this video because she's great, and that is Turtle All the Way Down by John Green. I love John Green. I will talk about him in every single one of my videos. He is my aspiration in life. I really just want to be John Green. I love him so much. I respect him so much, and this book has so much meaning to me. It's signed. I would probably like throw up if I met him. This book meant so much to me and I read it at a really good time in my life. I find that like sometimes when I read books that are very close to home like this one, dealing with anxiety, it can be kind of triggering depending on like where I am in my mental state, I guess. But I read this at such like a perfect time and I really absolutely loved it. It actually is the inspiration for what I want my first tattoo to be. But yeah, I love this book so much. And I feel like people talked about it so much for like the first like month or two when it came out, and then like they stopped talking about it, so friendly reminder, this book still slaps. I feel like I can be so eloquent and then I get to a point where I'm like, yo, this shit's dope as hell. I always say like, this is the book that got me into reading, this is the book that got me into reading, but there are so many that got me into reading because they would get me in and then I would hop on back out. I was like, no, this ain't my shit. I'm not gonna hold it up yet. I first borrowed this series from my best friend Ashley and I borrowed all 3 books and then I finally bought my own copy like literally last year. And I haven't reread them since, but I loved these books so much, I devoured them so much. I think it was the fastest I had ever read anything, and those are flew through these books. Like, I was so antisocial when I was reading these books. I would read at lunch. Like, I sat with my book open and like was just reading, and people were like, my friends were like around me, and I just like would eat and read at any time I could. I did it like during our pool trip. I did it all the time. And it's because of these books. The movies are another thing. I mean, I think the first one's good. These books mean the world to me. Should I reread them? I don't know. I'm kind of worried too, but I love these books so much. Next up is a book I never talk about. Like, I don't even know if you guys know, but this is my favorite book of all time. And that's Anne of Green Gables. Did you know this is my favorite book? I have like 3 copies. How many copies do I have? I have 4. This is like the most whimsical story there is, the most imaginative, Like honestly, I will always say, the best main character you will ever read from. Like, I found myself so much in Anne when I was watching the VHS tapes when I was a kid. I actually talked about this in one of my applications. Guys, this is my college application. I fell in love with the story, and it had always been in my mind, and I'd seen it many times. I have the VHS tapes. I've seen like the series and all of that stuff, but I hadn't read it until like a while ago, so it's kind of weird that I say this is my favorite book because it's just my favorite story. No, I just feel like me and Anne, we go way back, and we're just like, we're bosom friends, we're kindred spirits. Oh no, I might have 5 copies. Next up, I have The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. This might have been one of the first books I tabbed, which is kind of interesting. This was kind of the first book that I read that had a fat main character, which obviously I'm very grateful for. Really enjoyed this book. I think I actually gave it 4 stars. I was like, whoa, people can look like not like a toothpick. Well, because that's all you see in books. It's like, oh my god, I'm so skinny, I'm so ugly, like I look like a boy, like I don't have any hips. And then like you get to the characters that do, and they're like, oh, Yoshi's never getting a boyfriend. And it's like, listen, I'm really grateful for Girl Online. I am. It's like, I don't know if you've seen them. I've moved them. They used to be in the back of my videos. They've since been ostracized to my other shelves just because I feel like people are going to drag me. But I love these books. I don't care what you think. They, again, meant so much to me. I think this was, again, the first time I read about anxiety. This is the first book I think I ever reread. I loved these books. I think I've read it maybe 5 times. I reread this every year just because I am so familiar with the story and I love it more than anything. I felt like I was relating to this. I was like, yes, I am a YouTuber. I have anxiety and I want to find love. Anyway guys, that is all for this video. Let me know what some books that you guys are grateful for this Thanksgiving, or thankful for. I think I meant to say thankful. Oh. That's all for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and do all the things, and I will see you in my next one. Happy Thanksgiving! Bye! Oh, if you live in the United States, happy Thanksgiving.